My best friend won't stop talking about my ex in front of my fiancé, and now I think it's best not to keep a friend like that in my life. For context, my friend Jess, 29F, and I, 29M, went to the same high school and college. We were friends in high school, and since we both attended the same out-of-state college, we have grown to be each other's best friends since then. We've always been there for each other during the best and worst times. However, things have always been platonic, and she's more like a big sister to me, ensuring I stay on the right track. I've only had 2 long-term relationships so far. One was with my ex, Lisa, 29F, for 7 years. We met in college and dated throughout our college years, and Lisa and Jess also became good friends. After college, Lisa and I grew apart and had different life goals. I became boring after college as I was working on my PhD while holding a full-time job. Lisa broke up with me because she wanted to party on weekends, while I wanted to stay home and study. I was heartbroken, but I don't think I ever blamed her or harbored resentment towards her, as I understood my decisions were selfish and shouldn't hold her back from living her best life. Jess always stood by me and comforted me during that time. Jess and Lisa were good friends, and Jess always kept telling me that Lisa loved me and would be back one day when I was ready. I foolishly held on to that hope and stayed friends with Lisa. That was until I met my fiancé, Yang. After I finished my PhD, I got a nice job at a big tech company, and Yang joined our team a year after me. We started going out for drinks and dinner, and we started dating seriously pretty soon after. We are happy together and financially in a great place, and needless to say, I stopped talking to Lisa after I started dating Yang. I proposed to Yang a year after we started dating and got engaged last year, and Jess has been acting weirdly ever since. One of the first things she said to Yang after we got engaged was how I had planned the same thing for Lisa, referring to me proposing on a local hiking trail. It was a bit off-putting that she was bringing up Lisa, whom I broke up with almost 5 years ago, on such a happy occasion. However, Yang asked me not to spoil my mood, as she felt Jess was just commenting on how I had that plan in mind for years. Since then, every time we meet, Jess without fail brings up Lisa and how the things I'm doing are all the things I had planned with Lisa. This happened when we bought a house, planned for vacations, etc. Jess always starts with some nostalgic story and then brings up how Lisa and I were so happy together. She is still good friends with Lisa and keeps giving me updates about Lisa and how great Lisa is doing at work when no one is asking for it. It felt like she was painting a rosy picture of Lisa to Yang and telling Yang that she would always be second to Lisa. Yang told me Jess's comments bothered her, and I felt the same way. I have brought this up with Jess many times and asked her not to do it. However, she says she will try, but since I dated Lisa for 7 years, she would be part of many stories from the past. Also, she asked me why talking about Lisa bothers me and if I still have feelings for her. I have reduced hanging out with Jess, but she is close to my mom and is always invited to all our family parties and holidays. I talked to my mom and sister about this, and they feel I'm overreacting. They feel Jess is just telling stories, and since the stories are mostly from college days and later, Lisa will be a character in the story. They also feel I should not be bothered by Jess mentioning Lisa since we broke up a long time ago, but I feel that it's disrespectful to Yang as she doesn't need to hear about all the fun Lisa and I had when we were together and how we were planning to get married. I'm not sure what to do. Update 1. I wrote a post a month ago regarding my friend Jess mentioning my ex constantly in front of my fiancé. Thanks to everyone who commented on how inappropriate it was. However, the last month has been nothing but crazy, and I'm still trying to make sense of what has happened so far. After my post, I decided to talk to Jess and gave her an ultimatum not to speak about my ex, Lisa, again. I know Jess and Lisa are still friends, but I was uncomfortable with her constantly comparing my fiancé, Yang, with Lisa. I broke up with Lisa 5 years ago, and she is nothing but a faint memory in my past. Jess kept defending herself and telling me that I was with Lisa for most of my adult life and it's hard to tell any stories from the past without including her. She also blamed me for being emotionally childish and just forgetting about Lisa when she was with me for 7 years. Finally, Jess agreed that she would not bring up Lisa in front of Yang, and I should also not treat Lisa as if she does not exist since she is still Jess's friend. I then informed Yang about our conversation. Although she was appreciative, she said I did not need to do it and she knows how much I love her. Every time Jess brings up Lisa, she feels sorry for Lisa that she let a guy like me go. Yang went to visit China 2 weeks ago for a month as we plan to get married in her hometown. She is taking care of her shopping as well as preparations for the wedding. Jess invited me to her house that Friday for dinner as I was home alone. I am also good friends with her husband, and we were all just chatting and drinking in the living room. At around 7:30 p.m., the doorbell rang, and Jess excitedly went to open the door. To my surprise, it was Lisa at the door. She was all dressed up as if she were ready for a date and came in. I had not seen her in person for almost 3 years, and I was shocked to see her. She sat down and started making small talk with me. I was extremely uncomfortable and went into the kitchen to talk to Jess. I was angry at her and asked her what the hell was going on. She kept telling me that it's been 5 years since the breakup and to get over it and be nice to Lisa. She said Lisa was excited to meet me, and she thought we were all adults and could have one fun evening together. We had a fight, and I told her that she should not have invited Lisa after our conversation the other day, and I do not want to be friends with her anymore. I went into the living room and politely excused myself and told everyone that I had a work emergency and had to leave early. Lisa looked sad, but I genuinely felt uncomfortable being made to hang out with my ex without my consent. I came home and called Yang. I had never seen her more furious, and she told me she is not comfortable with Jess anymore as she has some agenda that we do not know about. It's different to talk about Lisa, but to invite her without consulting is not okay. I also felt the same, and I called Jess the next day and told her that she crossed a line, and I was terribly upset with her. I stopped taking her calls and ghosted her. I also told my mom and sister about the whole incident. Last Sunday, my mom called me for lunch. When I got there, I saw Jess was already there. I told my mom that I do not want to talk to Jess and can't stay. However, she asked me to sit as they all wanted to talk to me. I have a glutton for punishment and decided to hear them out. My mom started with how Jess has been there for me all these years and only has my best interest at heart. She kept on telling me that she, my sister, and Jess are the three people in this world that love me the most. Jess started saying how she felt that I was making a big mistake in not having to hear what Lisa had to say. She told me that Lisa was my first love and Lisa is now ready to settle down, and we can pick up where we left off. She reminded me how broken I was when Lisa left me and how life is giving me a second chance. My sister also chimed in and said how they all liked Lisa more than Yang and how we both looked so great together. Finally, my mom started saying how our culture was so different from Yang's and it is hard for them to relate to her. I asked them in what way, and my mom said that they did not understand what Yang says sometimes and have nothing in common with her. Then my mom asked me to think about how Lisa and I would have such wonderful looking kids, while if I marry Yang, our kids will look so different. I started getting their drift, and I probed more. My mom told me how our kids would look Asian with small eyes and not like any others in the family. I asked my mom if she cared more about my kids' looks and not about how smart they will be, since Yang has a PhD. She blew it off, and I realized she just did not want me to marry Yang because she was Chinese and not white. My mom told me to forgive Jess, and she asked Jess to talk to Lisa on my behalf and asked her if she would be interested in getting back together with me. My mom was adamant that since I loved Lisa so much, I should be happy and pick up where we left off as that is the best for everyone. I have never been so angry and may have said a lot of unkind things to all of them before I left. I am so depressed right now. I not only lost my best friend, but also am not sure how I can move on from what my mom said. My mom and sister raised me, and that is the reason I am where I am today. However, I cannot get over how racist they are being and how they were just pretending to like Yang all these years while actively working on breaking us up. I have been so shocked that I have not told any of this to Yang so far. I might wait for her to come back next week and talk to her in person. Again, thanks everyone for all your messages on the last post as they helped me a lot to think through the situation. My life is more messed up than I could imagine, and I cannot imagine how dejected Yang will feel after hearing all this. Update 2. I wrote a post 2 months ago regarding my best friend Jess constantly bringing up my ex when talking to my fiancé, Yang. I wrote an update 2 weeks ago about my mom, sister, and Jess scheming to try to get me back with my ex, Lisa, because they were uncomfortable with Yang being Chinese. They tried to do it when my fiancé was visiting her parents, and I felt so betrayed by their actions. As I mentioned in the previous post, I blew up at my mom and sister about what they said and immediately left. I did not take calls from them or answer texts for the next several days. Initially, their messages were filled with anger towards me for leaving before they could finish what they wanted to say. However, I think they realized by day 3 that they might have crossed the line this time and became extremely apologetic. I finally messaged them to leave me alone and not to contact Yang or me until we contact them. Jess did not message me the whole time. I did not tell Yang about the situation until she came back home 9 days ago. Initially, I did not know how to bring up the subject, but she sensed something was wrong and asked me about it. I was so worried about hurting her, but I told her about what happened. I was upfront about the stunt Jess pulled, and she was angry at Jess. I also told her about my visit to my mother's place, but she did not react with any anger, she just asked me if I was okay. The next few days were confusing, where I was more upset than Yang. She was just excited, showing me all the pictures and telling me stories. Finally, last Thursday evening, she opened up and asked me if I was okay about my mom's behavior and what I planned to do. I told her my thoughts and how I cannot forgive them for what they said about her being Asian and them wanting me to marry Lisa because she was white. I asked her why she was not more upset, as it was bothering me. She then told me that when she told her parents about me, they had the exact same reaction to her dating someone who was not Chinese. Her family is very traditional, and her parents were very upset about her decision. It took them a few months to warm up to me and accept me, and she never told me about this because she wanted me to have a good relationship with her parents. She told me that now they are the most excited about doing arrangements for our wedding. She told me that she has always felt something was off when she talked to my mom, my sister, or Jess, and they did not like her. My mom and sister would be very friendly with her in front of me but never invited her to anything when I am not around. She suspected that it may be due to the fact that she is not white and does not understand American traditions. She said she is not upset with them, and now that this is in the open, she should talk to them and assure them that she would be as good of a wife as Lisa or any other girl. She said that she does not want to break a family in order to start a new one. Despite my protests, Yang invited my mom and sister for lunch on Sunday. She said that it would be good for us to talk about everything and hear why they are concerned about her marrying me. I was really not happy with this, but Yang spent most of Sunday morning cooking for them. When my mom and sister arrived, there were a lot of waterworks and apologies. My mom apologized to Yang and me for her behavior and told us that she would never bring it up again. My sister also was quiet and had tears in her eyes. There were a lot of blame games. My mom and sister were blaming Jess for constantly telling them how Yang might not be great for me and how she won't fit into our family. My mom and sister fought with Jess after I left, and Jess blamed Lisa. Based on Jess's story, Lisa has been depressed for the last few years, and when I suddenly got engaged to Yang, it became worse. Jess thought I was also depressed after Lisa left me because I did not date anyone for 3 years. In reality, I just wanted to focus on my work and studies and never had time. So, Lisa convinced Jess that she had to get back together with me as that is what I wanted too. Jess said how sorry she felt for Lisa as she was her longtime friend and listened to her plan as she thought it was good for everyone. My mom and sister told us that I should stay away from Jess because she orchestrated the whole situation. They kept hugging Yang and apologizing to her. Yang, in turn, also started crying and telling them that she will do better to fit in with them. It was all a big mess. I am still skeptical of my mom's change in heart, but I also want to see Yang happy. However, I think it will take a lot of time and healing before I could truly trust my mom and sister. Currently, my mom invited us to lunch at her place next week and told me that Jess will not be there. Jess has still not messaged me or Yang. I really don't know what I can do in this situation. I am still upset and furious at my mom, but I also want to respect Yang's effort to keep the family together. Thanks to everyone for all the messages and supportive comments. It really helped reading them when I was feeling very sad.